Well, hello there, and welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm still waiting for Chip to come online. I guess he's running behind schedule, such is life. I almost didn't make it on myself, but it's always interesting. Did you have an enjoyable weekend? How was your Father's Day? Makes for an interesting time. I was a little bit perturbed about the No Kings demonstration. And I'll tell you why. A majority of those people have no idea what they're protesting. The American public voted to put Trump in office based upon his promise to clear the country of illegal aliens. Then all of a sudden, all the libtards is like, oh no, you can't do that. And they went one step better because, hey,
yeah, I'm here.
Then they went one step better and they had Trump bend over backwards and kiss his own ass because he's going to do a cutout for farmers and a cutout for hospitality and a cutout for restaurants. So ICE can't go enforce federal law on those three industries. Why? Because the farmers started screaming, if we don't have them, we can't produce food. The hospitality industry said, we make money for the local government. We bring in tax money. We cater to tourism. We're important. You can't do this. We won't be able to operate because if we have to pay full, fair wages to people, we're going to have to raise our rates and people won't want to come. Is that true? I don't know. It's all bullshit to me, but that shows you that the president had to give in to some of his constituency. But a $450 million parade on his birthday, not a big deal. So, makes for an interesting time. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Oh God, I just got a call from. Well, you know what the problem is, CJ? It's just like when people vote for people because they put a street light in.
Right.
You know, these people want everything fixed except what they benefit from.
That's right.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And because politicians, as you said in a flush, I really like this, that quote, no man who is corrupt, no man who condones corruption in others can possibly do his duty to the community. From my favorite president, Theodore Roosevelt. And you got another one, another great quote there. So, you know, you talked about, you know, a lot of things in the flush. But this is the problem. You know, this is the whole issue. Everybody, you know, it's like when people elect their congressman, even though he's a nitwit, and because they figure they know somebody who knows him, or their state rep who they can call for a favor, not because they do the law, and they ignore the fact that they're corrupt. And this is one of the primary reasons these people get disgusted with this stuff. Good afternoon. I wasn't here for the introduction. I was my clock was off. So I don't know how that happened, but either that or my eyes were crossed. But no, this
You
is
didn't
this
miss
is
much.
a
You
problem
just
that
missed
we have
open
throughout
music.
all levels of politics, and you have to eliminate. You have to do what you're supposed to do, and that is take care of the people, all of them, not just your pet projects and stuff. I'll do the other one with Garfield because both quotes are very, very germane to what's going on in the country, the city. No more than ever, the people are responsible for the character of their Congress. Oh, boy, isn't that the truth? And the character of their city council and the character of their school committee. Okay, if that body is ignorant, reckless, and corrupt, it is because the people tolerate ignorance, recklessness, and corruption. James A. Garfield. See, those two quotes are really great. There's millions of them out there because government's been like this forever in this country, and people just won't fix it. Look at what happened in Washington. Trump goes up there, like you said, trying to do stuff, and everybody's whining. He's got to carve out stuff because the farmers are crying. The farmers got subsidies. The farmers got this. We got to do this. We got to carve it out for this. Oh, this senator won't vote for it. They got too close a margin. You see, this is the thing that really, really upsets me because we see these demonstrations that he's a king. He can't get shit done.
That's right.
You need a giant majority in the House and Congress to get anything done because they do not represent the people. They represent their voting interests. That's because if they think if they vote for something that might cost them their nice federal government job where they're insulated from everything, they'll hold up bills that are good for the people. And they should not be in office. When we have state reps that vote against a housing preference for veterans, and two of them were veterans, it shows how corrupt the freaking thing is.
That's
What's
right.
really aggravating me now, when I saw Chris is on the air, I want to know where the hell the Republican Party in Massachusetts is. This city voted for Trump. Why didn't they line up a whole bunch of city council candidates and a whole bunch of school committee candidates and a mayoral candidate and have been pushing this thing now? Where are they?
Right.
We had 49,000 people come out and vote in the last election, and Donald Trump won that election. We got a lot of pissed off people. Why don't you take advantage of that and get them fired up and get them to the polls?
But that's the sad part about it.
I mean,
That's
this
the
is
sad part
nuts.
about it. You have some people who are currently have papers out. I don't know if they filed them yet or not, who are running as Trumpers. Yet, prior to that, you never heard a word about it.
Yeah.
They're trying to jump on the Trump bandwagon.
Yeah.
Some of them can't take care of their families. They can't take care of themselves.
I know who you're alluding to.
Okay? And they're over there saying, I'm a Trumper. Vote for me. I'm Republican. I'm the Republican this. I'm the Republican that. I'm Republican this. I don't care. Guess what? I was a Republican, and I jumped ship because they could give two shits about Fall River and its people. And there was one woman, Linda Raposo. I don't know if you remember her. Remember her?
Oh, I remember.
Okay. She fought diligently for the Republican Party in Fall River. And very few people came out and support her. And those people that did come out and support her were ostracized. Can't make this stuff up. Fall River has been and will be and will remain the welfare capital of the state as long as people keep voting in these same politicians because they have the D after their name.
Yeah. And this is the problem. Listen, I'm an independent, but I'm just saying their party should do something because
Oh, no
because
question
this
about
is
it.
the way people are. I'm going to tell you what. I've told this story before. I was on the Fall River Regional Task Force with a lady, who was the chair, who was the chairman of the political science department at UMass, Dartmouth. Brilliant, brilliant girl. She had a PhD and a master's in political science from Brown. Not that I like Ivy League schools, but at that time it was prestigious. But had a political science degree, was sharp as a tack. She lived in New Bedford. Her name was Rita Moniz. You can look it up. Of course, that's the New Bedford pronunciation of the name Monis in Fall River, but they call it Moniz. They're a little bit more sophisticated, I guess. But she ran for city council in New Bedford and she got elected.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
2 terms, they bounced her. You know why? Because she did the right thing.
That's right.
She got people pissed off when she first got in. Everybody loved her because she was fighting the fight. But then all of a sudden, she voted against a bill that offended a little group that wanted something. You know, she didn't put nice park benches down on Duval Street. No, I'm just being facetious, but you can't. You know, this is the problem. It's Roosevelt said it. You quoted Roosevelt about corruptness. I've quoted Roosevelt about voting when he said the reason Rome fell was that the people stopped voting and allowed the government to run itself. And that's fundamentally what we have. We have a bunch of people who feel entitled. They want to keep their corrupt guy in, but get rid of all the other corrupt guys.
That's right.
That's not the way it works.
They don't understand that. I got a couple of comments from YouTube. Chicky says true. And Phil, yeah, you're right. We can't expect the Sterile News or WSCR to give any Trumper running for office the time of day. I don't expect it. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact that We Suck at Radio makes it a point to bring Paul Coogan in to the station or on the phone, and they allow him to spew his lies to the people over the air. Thank God nobody listens, especially on a Saturday. But this is what happens. And just so you know, I don't know if I still have it or not. I just lost it. Shoot. That sucks. I guess Mimi Larrabee got upset at a school committee meeting, subcommittee meeting, because
Did
Colin
her
Dyke
lettuce
was
get
there.
limp?
What?
Did her lettuce get limp?
But she got upset because Colin Dias participated in the meeting and she stormed out. Imagine that. That's the same reason, just about, why Shelley Pereira and Paul Coogan have complaints filed against them. I don't know who they expect to respond to those complaints, because I'm sure when Paul got it, he tore it up, threw it away.
I have been dealing in this political quagmire as you have for decades, not years, decades and decades. We go back to, we used to ride dinosaurs to vote. But I've never seen. Chris, that's right. Roosevelt, you can go on forever with some of his great quotes. He was like I said, I like Teddy. He's the only president that ever had a boxing ring in the White House. And he also imported the judo champion from Japan for a year, had him live in a White House and trained in judo. And he won a Medal of Honor, and he was a soldier. But that's the thing. You know, we just had that massive parade that everybody, of course, the detractors are killing it. The other people are saying it was great. Well, but you know what it signified? Part of that, I watched it. they had a picture of MacArthur, who got fired because he did the right thing. Patton got benched because he did the right thing. Great generals by politicians who have political agendas. But see, this is the problem. People in the military, they don't have any, they can have any affiliation they want, but when the bullets start flying or they have to do it, they have to operate and protect each other's back. No man is left behind. And what MacArthur said on his final speech at West Point, duty, honor, country. And that's it. He doesn't care. You got to do what's uncomfortable. You know, this is what we got again. They're here. They're going to be here at every show now. Paul and Brad are here saying hello to everybody. I'll squeeze their head a couple of times to wake them up. But they're here, and they're going to ignore everything we say. And this is the problem. We need people in politics with honor now. They talked about a king. You can't be a king. He can't even fix government because his own people won't support some of the cuts because their district is benefiting from the graft and the corruption, or their friends are making money. We've got a mess. I mean, but what we can do, what's important is we may not be able to change it on a national scene. We can change it on a state level if we get together. But the easiest place to change it is in the city, at the local level. And this is what pisses me off about the Republican Party, who's never done anything in his state, doing nothing in his state. They should be having a campaign in every city and town that's got a Democratic lockdown like we do, to get candidates out and get people out to vote. The last election, we voted for Trump. Nationwide, the majority of people want the agenda that Trump said. They want good government. They want government for the people, of the people, and by the people. Not for the politician, by the politician, and for their friends. And they've done nothing, as far as I'm concerned. They've done nothing to organize a concentrated effort to change things. This city is going to die. One more term of Coogan, we're dead. This guy spends money like, I mean, it's insane. $600,000 worth of pay raises and the city is broke. You said in a flush, he's doubled the freaking budget.
Yes, he has.
He's doubled the city budget and we got nothing. Nada. Zero. What have we got? Better streets? No. Better crime enforcement? No. Full transparency like he promised? No. Honesty like he promised? No. You don't get to know anything.
That's right.
We don't know anything about John Perry. We don't know anything about Malone. We don't know anything about anything. Paul Coogan says, shut up. I spend what I want. I do what I want. I own everything. I got this city on lockdown. And tough.
That's it.
Do something about it.
Phil
He's giving you the finger. He's showing you. He said, do something about it. Vote me out.
Phil just brought something up, which I made a comment about today on Florida Media's page, Florida Community Media. He says, you think Keith Tebow loves Coogan? I mean, he never asks him any tough questions. This is not sour grapes. Understand, this is not sour grapes. Okay? But Keith has proven he is bought and paid for by the Coogan administration. Because when he had to make a choice between having Chip and I make comments about the administration and about the city politicians, or getting his $100,000 in cash for the station, he chose the money. So he was bought and paid for. Bought and paid for.
At a very low cost, too.
Right.
$100,000.
FRC Media, for the longest time, has never been the most reliable source of investigative journalism. That is all fluffy stuff. Okay? Facts on Animal Rescue League, Music in the City. It's all fluffy stuff. Okay? And it's all at a period for Paul to blow his own horn. Okay? And that's it.
Well, it shows the lack of sophistication and interest of the people that they, what is Coogan doing? Look, Coogan doesn't do anything. He's like Biden. I mean, he didn't need to get dementia to be walking around with his head up his butt. He had it his whole life. He never earned a job in his life, didn't take a test for anything, got hired, political hires, and got vice principal, couldn't make principal, couldn't run a school, but can run a city. He's a puppet. But the bottom line,
wake up real soon, because I don't know if you saw the vaping program he wants to stop vaping in the schools. He's taking Title I money, Title I, which is educational money, okay, to pay for vaping detectors.
Yeah, but you know what that is?
$60,000. So I made a phone call to a school committee member, and I said, I don't think you can use Title I money for vaping detectors, but because it's not for an educational purpose. I'm going to look further. I had very limited research at that time on what Title I money can be used for. I still don't think it can be used. So I'm going to ask the feds to start an investigation and to audit the city of Fall River and its use of Title I funds. That money is supposed to be used for delinquents, for poor children, for educational needs. It's not so that you can stop people from smoking.
CJ, I can't, it must be horrifying when he has to, if he was forced to watch this and listen to logic. But listen, why would anybody in their right mind use money in an educational system that's been failing for decades that he's been a part of?
That's right.
For education. Let's use it for feel-good stuff. Let's have parades. Let's have movies. Let's stop them from vaping. Don't educate them, but let's make sure
we're in the last 10% of the state. So, I mean, the only place we can go is down from here. You're right.
We were down 348 or something like that. I mean, it's horrifying.
It is.
But this is what Coogan does. Like I said, he's a puppet. But his politicians are old school politicians. You know what they've done? This is the modern campaign based on the old stuff. Buy them a chow mein sandwich and they'll vote for you. They don't give a damn that you're doing nothing for them. Coogan's been in office 3 terms. 3, not 1, not 3 weeks, not 3 months, not 3 years. 3 terms. Has he ever committed any kind of effort to cleaning up all the problems we had in the police department, from cleaning up the corruption, from getting people to work in the city that can give us real numbers, keeping the promises he made before he became mayor, being honest and transparent, and lowering the taxes? Remember, first time he ran, he promised a tax break. Second time he ran, he promised. He stopped promising. You know why? Right. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. He gets in no matter how much he takes a dump on the taxpayers of Fall River.
That's right. Hey, Phil, you're right. Phil just said, so Keith is nothing more than Coogan's version of George Stephanopoulos. I didn't say it, so Phil did.
I hate to say this because I don't really like Stephanopoulos at all. He's
what I'm saying.
He is wacky, but that's a really horrible insult to Stephanopoulos.
Yeah. Oh God. We can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. You can't make it up. Look what's happened. Like I said, 3 terms, nothing. He's done nothing. What is he going to do when he's running now? When we get into the real campaign season, is his what is his accomplishments for his in his 3 terms? What's it going to be? A list of the movies he's gotten at the.
I spent $88 million and have nothing to show
a
for
list
it.
of all the donations he gave to his friends and organizations to garner votes. Not anything to reduce the fact that the people are paying through the nose. Not that. Listen, 31,998, and I checked that a few weeks ago. That was the average per capita income in the city, and he gives out a $33,000 raise, $1,200 more than the entire annual income of an individual. $15,000 raises, $18,000 raises, while the city's broke. And this is, he's holding it down now. Remember that, people. This is why you got to get your friends. You got to take this to the coffee shops, not just, talk to other people of like mind. You've got to talk to people that don't have a mind, that are not minding the store, that are complaining about their lot in life, but won't put the blame squarely where it is. You keep electing a guy that never stops spending money. He's doubled our budget in 3 terms. There's never been a mayor in the history of this city that did this, spent money like this with no pushback of any degree from the council who spends the money. This is why I said, to me, there are very few councilors that have earned any vote. I don't care if the person's a Republican, a Democrat, a bull moose, an alien party. I don't care what they are, because I'm going to tell you something. When you put two rubber heads like this side by side, and everything that Coogan says, they go. And they've been doing it forever. I mean, Hart got bounced from the council once and went to the school committee, then came back. They did their mea culpas and they come back. Kilby took one job in the city. He'd still be there if he didn't get bounced when we got a new mayor. These people are nothing more than political hacks, absolute political hacks. And this is what you continue to allow to sit in those seats and basically rape and pillage the city. I mean, every day, basically, at least once I drive down County Street and I see that edifice to the ridiculousness of what the city is. That thing that was built, monument to what this city has become. In the parking lot of O'Gills. Somebody, please go down. I'm going to take a picture of it one of these days. But sometimes I get so pissed off every time I drive by there. I don't even want to stop. It's not a duplex. It's a triplex. So if you look at these buildings, they're tall, 3 stories. I guess the first floor has only got the way it looks to me, it's a very small from front to back. Probably got the living room and the kitchen and a bathroom on the first floor, then a second floor, and there's a third floor. 3 stories. It's a 3-decker, but it's a 3-decker with 3 isolated units, not like we have in Fall River where they're horizontal. These are vertical units. And when you walk out your front door, you're on the sidewalk. You step out your door and you're 6 inches away from the sidewalk. Your backyard's about 4.5 feet wide. You're going to tell me that people from Newton and Wellesley and Boston are going to come down and live on County Street across from businesses, not that there's anything wrong with a business, an auto body shop and stuff, and in a densely packed residential area with nothing around. You're nuts. You're crazy. We're creating Detroit. We're not creating Newton. I keep saying that. What's going to happen with these units? They are going to ultimately happen to Point Gloria. Do we remember that? CJ, remember
Oh,
what
yes.
happened in Gloria?
Oh,
That
yes.
was going to be a crown jewel of market rate housing. That was
Yes,
the
it
first
was.
one. And what happened? Section 8.
Section 8.
Section 8 came. I knew the guy, speaking of Rita Moniz in New Bedford City Council, I knew the guy that bought the penthouse apartment at Point Gloria when he first built it. He was very friendly with the Karams. He was a big wheel banker. He had money, and he bought the penthouse apartment. 5 years later, he was gone. He paid $365,000 all those years ago for a penthouse apartment that he ended up living in Section 8 housing. So, I mean, these people, they prey on people's affinity for being stroked. Oh, we're going to give you a movie. Oh, I'm going to stop your kids from vaping. They won't know how to learn and write. They won't know how to read and write. They'll be functional illiterates. But that's okay. We ran a couple of nice movies this summer, and we can have all the nice feel-good stuff you want. Bring the Girl Scouts in. We'll buy their stuff. Bring all the little groups in. Bring the box. Let's put $7 million down on the waterfront for lights and benches, even though the state of Massachusetts was going to provide us with lights and benches for free. We're going to spend an extra $7 million in one of the biggest pits in a state, one of the poorest cities in the state. We will have the great Coogan idea of having the nicest lights and benches in the state, while we have one of the worst educational systems, the most crime, and the city's a total shit show. But that's the way they are. That's the priority. Rich people like to look at nice things and ignore poor people, so they're going to make us poorer as long as you keep Paul in office and this council in office.
It's going to be interesting because the city is so piss poor.
Yeah.
Okay. That Barrett's Ale House has to donate a percentage of its sales to the city of Fall River to pay for the fireworks. $88 million. Can't even buy a freaking firework. $88 million. This is what we get.
I remember when a city couldn't afford stamps.
Yeah.
I was in the room. Too. I was in the room when they asked us to loan them money to buy stamps. So they asked the employees we loaned them money to save the Canadian drug plan, to save our drug plan so we could save millions of dollars, but they didn't have the money.
That surprises you why?
There's a council meeting tonight?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, again.
It's a budget meeting.
Yeah. Well, I gotta, I'm gonna Paul and Brad will have to be leaving shortly, I guess. They must be on their way. We'll just have them here in absentia. But listen, we'll get them. I mean, it's to the point now where I'm gonna fundamentally give up on this city. The people of this city don't want to fix it if they don't do something. So you gotta put the blame squarely on the people of Fall River and the people who run for public office. Don't go knock on everybody's door. Tell them what you're gonna do. And like I said, I don't care what party anybody is. These people do not understand politics. Local politics is nonpartisan. If you're a Republican and you're pushing a Republican agenda in Boston, you don't get anywhere because we're democratically controlled. If you're in Washington, you push your own personal agenda and your party's agenda. People don't realize that congressmen and senators spend 50% of their time raising money for their party, and about 40% of the rest of their time raising money for themselves. So they do about 10% of work. But on a local level, it doesn't matter what your politics is. The politics of Fall River is what the people are doing. It's local. You need to fix the police department. That's a nonpartisan issue. We need to fix our educational system. That's a nonpartisan issue. We need to understand that the people cannot afford to live in this city. We've got to stop these endless increases in everything by this guy and this endless spending. Like we said on the last show, I don't want to hear it. We hire a new interim CFO who's lost, totally lost. You know, I mean, Moses found his way out of the desert, but he had God helping him. But I don't know who's going to help these people. We get these people in there that they're just clueless, absolutely clueless. She's in over her head. I had somebody tell me that as an excuse. Oh, she's new at the job, and she's like, she didn't like the way the previous CFO did the work. Well, I don't care. Don't give me that crap. Don't give me that. You're new at the job. You shouldn't have taken a job if you can't do the job. That's why they don't make PFCs generals. They do make lieutenants chiefs of the department when they're up the mayor's ass, like Mike Coogan. So that stuff runs in the family. But he only lasted 13 days because we found out about the backlash about that. But this is the irony of it. You look at what's going on here, and it's like, it's Crazyville. Nobody wants to, they're not going to do anything. But it's about the people. It's a nonpartisan city. I mean, it's nice that we have a Republican Party. So what they should be doing is getting a platform that's for the people and putting candidates forth that's going to help the people. Not about, they're not going to vote for Trump's big, beautiful bill. It's going to be about putting somebody's ass in that seat. Like, well, we have Chris, I know, is watching. Like when he was there and complaining about the opera money. He was 100% right. It's gone. Political amnesia. We never talk about that. It's like, let's not talk about anything that shines a light on the fact that we're a bunch of bozos. And we don't care about the people. But it's time to hold them accountable, and only we can hold them. Like you said, like Roosevelt said, you quoted him again about corruption. I've never seen this city so corrupt, and I've never seen such a strength. They are literally. I have people that literally nearly cry when they call me to give me information. I know you do too. Please don't mention my name. If the mayor finds out, I'm gone.
How many times have we heard that?
I'm gone.
How many times?
They are petrified of this guy. He's a thug. Never had any power in his life. And like the old saying, absolute power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And they pretend, like his brother pretended to be for the men. Took over a union and sold it out for a job. Coogan's just here to make his friends rich, make himself rich, and carpetbag his way out of here. He'll be out of this city as soon as he's no longer a politician. He only came here to be a part. Everybody forgot. I remember why Paul Coogan came back to Fall River. To get rid of the superintendent of schools that wouldn't make him a principal.
Right.
He came back because his pal told him, oh, Paul, run for school committee. Meg Mayo Brown's contract's coming up. We can dump her. We got the votes this time to dump her. And he hated it because she told him straight, you don't have the brains to be a principal.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem, though. Okay? High fives.
Yeah.
Is how he got, hands in his pockets, like you said before. That's how he got through the school system and got his big, fat, taxpayer-funded pension. Remember that, Paul. Taxpayer-funded pension. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're also the same person that went around and told students, you're a problem. Just leave. You're not going to graduate. I can line them up around Government Center to rub your face in the shit you stirred as a vice principal. You did nothing for the students. You did nothing for the school except to suck like a tick.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Well, looking at
And
some of
what
these
you do as
comments,
mayor, you suck like a tick.
well, I'm looking at some of these comments, and it's like they need, ordinance says 20 feet away. That doesn't make any difference. They waive every requirement. You're also not supposed to have buildings too close together. We had a state rep once that built a building like 2 inches away from another building, and he got a variance. This is the problem. The laws only apply to them, Alphonse. And when you say some people have got to learn to go without, no, yeah, you're right. But those people are politicians. They're supposed to be going without support. You should not be elected these people. The people in Fall River have been going without. We've gone without a tax break for well over a decade. These new mayors, all they know how to do is spend. They actually had the audacity to tell you at a council meeting, and I still remember it. You better get used to the fact that your taxes are going to go up every year. That's the way it is.
Right.
And then they told you, I don't care if you use water or not, your water bill's going up every year, whether you use it or not.
That's
and
right.
You elect these people. And the council didn't say to the mayor, no, our taxes do not have to go up every year. They didn't before. And the city
finds a way.
No matter what happens, we are paying. They're complaining about health care. I have the records. We were paying more for health care 10 years ago than we are paying for health care in this budget, even though they're complaining that they're $2 million short. So what happened to all the money? $47 million is the number. I've got documented evidence because I've been negotiating this thing since we had a PEC, and even before that, since 81, that there were periods of time when our health care costs were between 50 and 55,000. $55 million. So don't tell me this. The only thing that's cheaper in the city is the thing they're complaining about, the health care. And why we can't pay the health care? Because they never kept any of the money they should have been putting in the bank like the employees did. This city is a disgrace. Like my attorney friend once said, only in Fall River will they allow people to, they're robbing you blind, and you won't get up and vote these people out. I don't care who you put in. Make everybody a one-term counselor and a one-term school committeeman and a one-term mayor until we get people who make it right. Only put the people in that work for you. But it just seems to be too hard a concept for people to grasp. And I'm tired of it. The people, they are committing seppuku. Might as well bend over and, we'll help you. Like when the Japanese samurai used to commit seppuku, they disembowel themselves, and then they had someone chop their head off when they did the horizontal stroke. So we'll help you. But you're chopping your own heads off, people. You don't go to the polls. I mean, I have never seen such a disgusting display. Brad Kilby has been voting to spend your money foolishly for decades. He spent $1 million on a field that's now under the new Durfee? And they virtually almost never used it. And he actually said at the council meeting, it's more important to spend $1 million on a baseball field than control the spending of Fall River. We were broke that year. Remember that one, CJ?
Yes, I do.
And this is what you got. And he stays there.
And then we plowed over that field after we did it.
That's right. It's now been interred with the good ideas of the past. Where are the city councilors like Steve Walsh, who used to pay attention? Where are the councilors like John Medeiros, who used to be the Republican penny pincher of the city council? Those days are gone. I mean, now it's like you got Michelle piping up a little bit. Now you got Brad and Sean, but the problem with Sean, most of the time, he goes on and makes a lot of good points why we shouldn't be giving him the money. Then he gives him the money.
I was going to say, you lots of lip talk. Yep, 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 yep. And then, okay, give him the money.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tax tea party. Yeah, but it's up to you, Fred, and guys like us to when I engage people in the public sector, I try to get them to get the vote. I keep telling them how important it is when they complain, because every time they see CJ and I in a coffee shop or someplace like that, all we get is complaints. And all we do is tell them, well, do something about it. Get 5 of your friends and let them get 5 of their friends or 10 of their friends to get to the damn polls, and let's put some new people in. I don't care. Just change them so they understand that this will not be a lifetime occupation. Brad Kilby is now going to retire with a giant pension because he's worked so long on a school committee and a city council and a little bit in City Hall and a little bit in the school department, that then when he gets his nice, cushy, big 6-figure job in the housing authority, he's going to use that as his pension base, and he's going to have, a gigantic increase in his pension. He'll go from a little puny pension to a giant pension.
That's only if a new mayor appoints him. If a new mayor doesn't appoint him, right there.
Yeah, there's another good reason not to get. You got to go to the polls. I don't care who we put in. I'm going to vote. I'm going to listen to them, and we're going to have everybody on the show if we can. Once all the papers are in and they're certified, and we know that they're official candidates, we'll give everybody the opportunity to come on the show. They can come on. They can say their piece. We're not going to be. We'll let them first set their platform. We'll ask them some questions, and we'll let the people decide. And maybe we'll have them meet. Maybe we will have a meeting, either slightly before or slightly after these papers are due in, and people can get signatures signed. But maybe just to get together to try to get other people to vote. Maybe we need to do that again, like we had that infamous meeting at the Elks. Remember that infamous meeting?
Yes, I do. It was in a small room. We had people standing outside.
Beginning of the revolution, the recall. And this is what we need. We need to get people to believe that we can change this government, but only we can. They will not change it. They're all getting rich. They're not going to change. They're not going to change it. They don't care. They don't give a damn. He's getting loaded. If Coogan didn't even make an investment, which I'm sure all his rich banker friends and lawyer friends and all his other friends are giving him all kinds of, stock tips like Nancy Pelosi. He may be the Nancy Pelosi of Fall River. We'll have to see if we can get his stock portfolio. That's something. That's something to consider. Let's see, Paul. Reveal your stock portfolio to the people of Fall River. If you get another term, you will have made nearly $1 million just in salary. And that is something that the average Fall Riverite will not make in a lifetime.
He won't even let the police department release information.
I know. Well, this is they got North Korea. We're going to have to change Fall River's name to North Diarrhea.
Yeah. That's for sure. We keep fighting a losing battle. Why do we lose? Because the people of Fall River don't smarten up. They just do not smarten up. The sad part about it is the dead have more brains. And they don't know who the hell they're voting for because they're dead.
Yeah, and I'm reading Fred's comment about it. Yeah, it is disappointing that these candidates are not talking about issues. They're quiet about the issues. They're not going out there and taking it to the people, but they've got to take it to the people.
They
Like I
have
said,
to.
we've had major upsets before. Chuck Sylvia, when he bounced Steve Long, Sr., who had been in the State House for 30 years, he knocked on every single door in that district. And at that time, my house in the Flint was part of that district. It's no longer part of that district. I now have, unfortunately, Viola. They gerrymandered that district. But I was in that district, and he came walking up my driveway, not once, not twice, but 2 or 3 times to discuss political issues. And he sat in my backyard, and we talked about what he was going to do and about what the incumbent had done in 30 years, which is virtually nothing. But this is what you got to do. You got to get the people to say, listen, I'm going to work for you. You can't just say vote for me because I'm different. Yeah. That's an unfortunate choice we may have to have, that we're going to have to vote for people who we really don't know their platform, but we're going to hopefully get everybody on the show and get their platform. And we can see, I don't have to examine some people's platform because, we do have incumbents with records. We do have a former incumbent running who we know. And we have Rick Teeth on the council now, and we've seen him so far try to, make sense of things and maybe look like he has the people at heart. And we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's up to us, guys. We are the masters of our own destiny. We are the captains of our own ship. What we need to do is make government what basically it was when we saw on the birthday of the Army, which preceded the birthday of our nation. Those men who fought at Valley Forge, the men who fought all through history, and they had them in that parade in uniforms of the period. They had what MacArthur referred to. They had honor. They felt a duty to their country and their city. And that time it wasn't a country in the Revolutionary War. And this is what you need. It's got to be duty, honor, duty, and city. That's what people have. We have to have people who are working in the best interest of the city of Fall River. And it's not too much to ask. We've had people like that. We've had guys like Steve Walsh, who was a brilliant, brilliant counselor and really cared about the people. We can do it again if we get together. But, in strength, there's numbers. Divide and conquer. That's what they do. They make us say it's hopeless, but it's not. It's only hopeless if you continue to sit on your asses.
Which seems to be the story of Fall River. I'll tell you now, it's sad. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, as I brought up earlier when we opened the show, the parent who filed a complaint against Paul Coogan and Shelley Pereira. Filed complaints against all of them, except maybe Colin and Kevin. But they don't do anything. They don't pay attention to you. They ignore you. And as far as they're concerned, your children are a nuisance.
Well, she should hire a lawyer and sue them.
Yeah, that's for sure. I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday. And remember, Thursday is a federal holiday. There will be no trash pickup on Thursday. So it's all bumped over to Friday. I'm going to say it again on Wednesday. Have a great day.
Oh.